All right. Hey, thanks for taking a look at our pricing tool. My name is Kenson Pribble. I'm the founder of Monument Solar, and we built this pricing tool to help our customers really twofold. We wanted them to be able to learn more about off-grid systems and how what kind of goes into making a robust platform for you to capture energy from the sun on the road and for a cabin or whatever it might be. But also, we wanted to provide you the details of the costs behind that as well. So I'm actually going to jump to the end here. I already completed one of these. I used the tool to come up with an estimate right here. So this is what you're going to be provided with at the end of filling out this tool. Um, in essence, here's this high level, summary of the system right here, and it's all the different packages and things, the pricing behind all of it. And then if you hit this itemize button, this is kind of fun. If you hit the itemize button, it's going to break down for you all of the various components of the various bundles that we have within this platform, and it's really going to dial in, give you a really close estimate as to what your final cost will be. I have probably fielded over 3,000 phone calls with individuals wanting to put a solar system on an off-grid, um, application. And I was asking the same questions. I was building very similar systems on each one. And I thought, you know what, there's got to be a better way that I could help more people get into a system that's right for them. So that's what kind of led me to build this tool. And so what it consists of is there's a number of pages, and each page has some questions that are posed to you. It has some information that helps you learn more about the different facets of an off-grid system. And then it's going to give you options to say, hey, well, given what you now know, what type of battery do you want? Or what kind of back-end electrical system do you want? Or, hey, do you want a professional installation or what have you? And hopefully it's going to give you the information and pricing that you need to know to, in essence, build out your system. So now going back to this view here, we have down at the bottom, you can fill out this form after you've filled out your finished the tool. It's going to give you the pricing and everything that you might need. And you can then reach out to us. You can submit this form, and it's going to send me an email in essence, saying, hey, this person would like to review their quote with you. And so if you're interested in doing that, we're happy to do so. We can then revise it as needed and really dial it in for you at that time if you'd like. Or if you just wanted the information and take it away, I mean, we're not going to hold it against you. This is a free tool to help you however best we can. So, but with that said, this tool is meant for kind of educational purposes. And if you do decide to go build your own system, I highly encourage you and want you to go and talk to an actual professional before implementing anything. All right. So whether you want to talk with us or someone else, that's up to you on that. But I want to make sure that you're not building a system that is not wired up properly or has the right fusing or what have you. And so just as a caveat, I want to make sure that you take this to a professional as well and make sure that you're dialed in there. So with that said, what I wanted to do here is I'm actually going to take a couple minutes and go through this with you on this in the video and I mean, my version might be a little different than the one that you are using later down the road. We're making changes to this every day, trying to improve it, make different, provide different options and all that. And so it may look a little different, but I want to kind of walk you through it so you can see how easy it is to get this information. So what I'm going to do here is let's actually jump to the next slide here. This is just a little welcome page. This is actually one of the systems we installed for one of our customers this past year. And really powerful. We used our off-grid racking system, our proprietary solar racking product on the roof. It helped us maximize it out really well. But what I'm going to do here is let's go through and build a system maybe similar to what we have here. This guy his system was really decked out to the nines. And so let's go through and build that together. Now we have a couple options here. This option here, if I click on this, it's actually going to pre-fill the entire workflow and then provide you the estimate. In fact, I've already done that with this view here. So this here, we have this nice quote detailed out. I literally just went through a couple clicks and I had this laid out for me. But what's really nice about this is I can actually click back and it's going to go through and bring me to each of the selections that were already pre-filled. And if I wanted to tweak things or whatever it might be, I can do that really easily. And so if you're wanting to do the same thing, you're more than welcome to. That's probably the fastest way to do it. Or if you're a little bit more, want to dive into the weeds, that's what we're going to do now. So on this first page, we're given that option of selecting from some pre-selected, predetermined systems. If you want to learn more information about it, you always can click on these little boxes here, and it gives a little bit more of an in-depth understanding of what it is you're trying to make a decision upon. But if you're ready to do that, oh, let's go back. It thought that that's what I wanted. So let's get back here. I'm going to actually start from scratch. So we'll select on that. And then we're going to go through this here one by one. Now this page here is kind of helping us clarify, how are you planning to use this off-grid system? Um, Based on, if you're going to be using it's on a boat, I'm not going to recommend to you using a ground mount solar array racking system, right? And also same thing with on a motorhome. I'm not going to say, hey, use this ground mount system on that. I'm also not going to, recommend a 48 volt battery bank if you're doing a 12 volt system. So there's some conditional logic within this platform that is going to let us um, show this information to you in a way that's not going to waste your time. So what we're going to do is I'm going to click over here on the motorhome, fifth wheel, and travel trailer option. Now, if you put this information here and we do hold a call later, it does help us. It just provides us all the information like about the RV and things. I'm not going to fill that out right now, but if you would fill that out yourself, that'd be great. Sometimes you're building the systems out or pricing things out and you don't know it. If you don't, that's just fine. You don't have to fill it out. The next one here is we're going to be needing to understand your installation method, if you're going to do this yourself or if you want to have a professional do it. As a caveat, the professional installation is based off of a shop rate of $250 an hour. Now, that, in my opinion, is on the kind of the higher end. And so we like to do the higher number just so that it's going to be that or likely less in your area. So you can always anticipate, between about 150 to 250 roughly. And maybe if you hire someone some kid in the neighborhood to help you out, maybe get even cheaper or what have you. But in any case, if you selected this professional installation option here, it's going to incorporate that cost in with the estimate. And I'll show you that here at the end. If you do the self-installation, it's not going to include the professional installation side, but it will include shipping costs. Again, these are both just estimates and things, but it's going to hopefully get you close in the ballpark for an end figure there. So we're going to do the professional installation option. Now we're jumping into more of the nuanced work here. So we've told it the platform we're trying to do on a motorhome or fifth wheel and things. And so now it's kind of sit here and say, hey, well, at what level do you want to have solar put on your RV? Are you looking just to top off your 12-volt battery banks? Are you wanting to be able to run an air conditioner for a little bit and a microwave or something? Or are you wanting to go all out and have practically, as much power as you really could dream of, and be able to run your air conditioners throughout the day and into the night and things like that? It's letting you now kind of choose between what level of solar. Each one of these is going to be different. We specialize in the maximized off-grid side of things. We do offer all options, and so we're able to do these other installs as well. And a lot of our customers will come and ask us to do that. That's not a problem as well. But this is the option that we have people coming from across the country to have this work done. And so what I'm going to do here, we're going to actually select this maximize off grid. Before you do make this decision though, if you have questions about what these are, get this info button, like we do put a lot of information in there to try to help you get a better understanding of what these systems are really capable of. I can't tell you how many times I've had somebody say, hey, I want to be able to be in Phoenix in August and run all three air conditioners 24/7. Can you do that? And I'm like, no, it's like the physics behind that just don't come together. So, um, and I have to help educate them. What can you really expect from these systems? And so you'll get a little bit more of that when you hit this learn more button. Let's select the maximize off grid and we'll keep going. Now we're jumping into the main facets of the system itself. Now on a motorhome, you're going to have a house battery that is powering your, if you have an inverter on there, it powers that, and you might be able to run a microwave or something like that. But what we're going to be doing when we do an off-grid system is we actually install a larger battery bank for anything that's not just like a 12-volt trickle charging your, a couple panels up the roof, and we go into more of the off-grid category. We're going to be, pumping some serious power through your system, and if we increase the voltage to 48, it really helps to manage the cable sizes and helps everything run more efficiently, and keeps the component cost down a little bit. So what we're going to do here is we're going to select the 48-volt battery bank. Now, as you go through these are just some of the batteries we've used in the past on installs. It's not all inclusive, and there will be more that we'll be adding here shortly. But what I want to point out here is we've actually done this on a price per watt hour. This really helps you compare the batteries side by side in terms of how much power capacity are you getting for the money you're spending. And so we have some higher brands, and we have ones that are not as rated as highly, but they have better price per watt. We all the batteries now that we're starting to see hit the market, um, they are all coming in very competitive in terms of the safety features and warranties and different things like that. And so it's kind of a toss up to some degree. There are some pros and cons of each one, but that's the biggest one that I like to look at and say, like, how much power am I really capturing on a per watt install basis? So I'm just going to stick with this guy here. We're going to go down to the next one now. And on a motorhome or a fifth wheel or other RV, you're going to have a 12-volt system. And typically there's a 12-volt battery that's lead acid. If you want to upgrade that, which we highly encourage, if you do have a lead acid, to remove it from your system, you're going to get a lot more value out of having a 12-volt dedicated lithium battery. And so we can go ahead and I'm going to click on this one here for that addition. If you don't want either of these, you already have your batteries, just go ahead and click no thanks, and it's not an issue. I do want to point out one other thing here, and that is this one automatically prompted a 4 battery, battery bank. And this one down here is just one. You can adjust those as needed. One thing I do want to point out to you though is in a 48-volt system that this one is, you need to make sure that you are getting the power up to 48 volts. And with a 12-volt battery, you'll need to connect those in series to get up to the 48 volts. So if you connect 4 of these together, that voltage then adds on itself. So 12, 24, 36, then 48. And so you need 4 of these batteries to get up to the 48 volt. And the same thing with like a 24 volt. I think we have one up here. Yeah, 25 volt over here. You need 2 of these in series to get up to that 48 volt battery voltage. So just kind of keep that in mind. This one's already up at that 51. These are saying 51 and 25 and what have you, but they're in essence a 48 and a 24 volt battery. So let's go on to the next page. Now we're diving into the electrical system. Now, we tried to package this up so that it's super easy. These are different facets of an electrical system that I have to ask whenever I'm on a call with a customer. These are what you're finding in this tool are the same questions that I'm asking to my customers and trying to understand what their needs are. We selected a non-Victron battery. So if we go back to this page here, we had these Victron batteries up top, and then everything else was not Victron. And so the components on these two systems are going to be slightly different. And so we're going to select the non-Victron battery option. Now, inverting power is the next step. This is where we're taking the energy that's stored in the batteries or coming from the solar array itself, and we're converting it into a power that is, you know, consumable by the air conditioning units, the refrigerator, your laptop, microwave, things like that. It's AC power, they call it. It's the power that's being fed to your outlets in the wall kind of thing, where you plug things in and what have you. So if you want to know more details on each one of these or about these options, go ahead and click some more info, and there's a good explanation as to what's going on, what to consider. But the down and dirty, side of it is we have a 50 amp coach. These are the two options here. If you have a 30 amp coach, there's your two options. And then you're really deciding at what capacity the inverters are going to be. So this one has two 3,000 watt inverters, and this one has two 5,000 watt inverters. I'm going to select this one. About 9 out of 10 installs that we do or systems we design is we use this package here for a 50 amp coach. Now going a little bit further down here, we have the option within the coach to charge your 12 volt batteries using the already pre-existing charger that's in your system on your coach. And what it's going to do is it's going to pull power from your inverters to then charge the 12 volt battery. Totally works just fine until your inverters stop working for whatever reason. The other option is to use what's called a 48 to 12 DC to DC converter and or converter charger. And what it does is it takes the 48 volts and changes it down to 12 volts directly. You don't have to use the other electronics, and it just goes in just great. So we typically will do this install for people. We then have the other onboard charger within the coach as kind of a backup. So I'm going to add that here. Now this option here is whether or not you want to like charge your alternator, like your 48 volt using your alternator on your RV. This is only included for those who are wanting to do if they have like on a motorhome. For a fifth wheel, they don't necessarily have it, or travel trailers, and so we don't really need to worry about this. I'm just going to say no thanks. Again, if you need more information about this, go ahead and click the more info. And there might be additional, we are going to be adding some other little packages within this page here. They're not on there yet, but if they're same process, you go ahead. If you don't understand what it's being asked, go ahead and click the more info button, and then it should provide you the information you need to then properly select your answers here. Now we're diving into the actual solar side of your system. And this actually, because we're using a maximize off-grid system, or we've selected that before, the racking system only works with very specific sizes of panels. And so I get a lot of calls all the time where people are like, I already have my panels, I want to use those, but I want to use your racking system. And I'm like, all right, we can do that if they're the right size. And for the most part, they're usually not the right size, and we have to kind of work through things a little bit. But for the purposes of this tool, we wanted to make it easy for you. And so when you select one of these options, I'm going to actually go with a 10 panel system. So you can kind of see here, suspends 10 panels. It's approximately 4,600 watts, required roof length of 34 feet, and has a little bit more information in here about the system. But in essence, if you click on that, it's going to prompt you and say, hey, would you like to include the solar panels that are associated with it? It's like, sure. It already pre-selects the number of panels. We are going to be adding into this as well, like the charge controllers associated as well. But in essence, that's going to be the process. So you have this primary question or answer that you can select, and then you have this secondary one here. And and others as well that are relate directly with the original question. So, um, and if you don't want to do one of these as well, again at the bottom, you can click this I do not want to add that. Now we're jumping into something else that I have to throw in here because I want to make sure, I mentioned this at the beginning, but in short, there's two elements of this. I want you to make sure to read through this, but in essence, first off, the pricing that's provided here is non-binding. It is a very close estimate. We try our best to give you the right information up front. But the prices change. We use a lot of third-party components, and those components change quite frequently. And so we update this monthly or so, give or take on the price. But if there's price discrepancies, when we actually end up doing an order, we make sure it's all updated, and then we can provide that pricing to you then at closing. In addition to that, we want to make sure that you're reviewing this with a professional and that you're not just doing this without consulting somebody who knows what they're doing. Okay, so we're not liable if your system that you install and you go through and build ends up causing problems or not working out. You definitely want to make sure that you're consulting a professional when you're installing one of these systems. So we want to make sure that you acknowledge that. And there we go. Now we have this itemized or this little estimate here. It threw together the professional installation total and the system cost there. And then you're out the door there before tax. And then right here, again, if you would like to review this, your quote, you fill your information here. And if there's any specifics you want to kind of dive into and say, hey, this is really one of the questions or the application I'm trying to do, the problem I'm facing, or the dream I have, feel free to put it here. It makes it easier for us to kind of help you build a system to your use case. So, and then one more time as well, if you hit this little itemize button, it's going to open up the more expanded view on things. If somebody referred you over or gave you a discount code, you can add that here as well, and it will end up adding some discounts that may or may not be available. Also, if you want to put in here as well how you heard about us in the section down below, if you do submit it through, sometimes the code up top may be typed in wrong. It might not give it to you. And so if you just add in here like, hey, I saw this on this YouTube channel, or I saw this on this Facebook ad, there's typically a marketing promotional discounts that we can wrap in for you. So with that said, thanks for your time. I hope that was useful for you. And if you do have any questions or concerns or want clarity on things, by all means, feel free to reach out to us. We're more than happy to hold a call with you about it. But yeah, looking forward to talking to you soon. Thanks.